Darwin's theory of evolution suggests that life on Earth emerged by chance. The theory of evolution also maintains that there is a pitiless fight for survival among living things. According to the theory, the strong win and the weak are defeated and eliminated. Charles Darwin, the founder of the theory, based his idea of the so-called fight for survival on the concept of natural selection. Yet Darwin, who lived in the 19th century and whose chances of making observations were extremely limited, was badly wrong. It has now emerged that natural selection has no evolutionary force at all, and that furthermore, there is no such ruthless war in nature as Darwin has claimed. Most weak individuals are protected by stronger ones, and different species help one another. As you have seen in this film, parents protect their babies, the weakest and most defenseless things in the world, at the cost of their lives. The theory of evolution that has already collapsed in the face of modern science is even further demolished by these observations in nature. In a book written in defense of the theory of evolution, Professor Cemal Yıldırım, one of Turkey's most prominent evolutionists, implicitly admits that maternal love cannot be explained by blind chance or natural selection. Is there any possibility of accounting for a mother's love for her young by a blind mechanism, that is, natural selection, with no psychological component? There is no doubt that Darwinists are hard put to provide a satisfactory answer to this question. Although it is not scientific, the idea that nature consists solely of a relentless struggle for survival has been blindly defended by evolutionists, and some have even attempted to apply it to human life. Such people, devoid of such concepts as love, affection, and compassion that religion brings with it, have maintained that weak, handicapped, and sick people are condemned to elimination by natural selection, and that they have no right to life. Historically, the most prominent supporter of the idea was Ernst Haeckel, the most important proponent of Darwinism in Germany. In his book, Wonders of Life, Haeckel proposed the destruction of abnormal newborn infants without hesitation. He wanted all the sick and deformed, who may be an obstacle to the so-called evolution of society, not just children, to be eliminated as a requirement of the laws of evolution. He complained that hundreds of thousands of incurable lunatics, lepers, people with cancer, etc., are artificially kept alive in our modern communities without the slightest profit to themselves or to the general body. Redemption from evil should be accomplished by a dose of some painless and rapid poison.
Aber Deutschland wird bestehen. Wir werden sterben, aber Deutschland muss leben, jetzt und immer.
These ruthless ideas of Haeckel were taken up by Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany, and tens of thousands of innocent people were killed on the grounds that they were sick or handicapped, and represented an obstacle to the so-called evolution of the German race. These graves belong to people murdered by the Nazis because they allegedly represented an obstacle to evolution. A century or so after Haeckel, Professor Ali Demirsoy, a prominent Turkish evolutionist, surprisingly supports the same idea. Demirsoy says that evolutionary biologists need to conduct genetic tests on babies in their mother's wombs and kill those which they regard as flawed without allowing them to be born. Demirsoy describes himself as a biological fascist and says, "If you ask me, I'm a biological fascist, and those babies who exhibit such features at the 4th month of pregnancy need to be terminated." As we have seen, evolutionists cite nature in support of their inhuman ideas, such as killing a handicapped baby. Yet when we look at nature and animal behavior, we see that evolutionists are mistaken, and that even animals are more compassionate and possessed of more conscience than the people who actually put forward such ideas. The scenes you are about to witness are an important example of how animals treat the crippled. A hot day on the plains of Kenya. A herd of elephants have set out on one of their day expeditions to find food. The leader of the herd is this female. It is a hot day, and this female gives birth to a calf. This lovely calf, born only a few hours earlier, never leaves its mother's side, not even for a moment. Yet there is a serious problem. The calf is finding it difficult to stand up because it has a serious problem with its front feet. These are twisted inwards, preventing the calf from standing up. Researchers conducting observations in the area believe that the calf will inevitably die. The next day, the mother elephant leaves the herd. Because her calf has health problems, and she can no longer lead the herd. The herd need to carry on and look for food. But it is impossible for the calf to catch up with the herd. If the older calf wants to survive, it will have to accompany the herd. Yet it faces a grave dilemma. The mother elephant tries to use her trunk to lift the sick calf up and get it to stand. Eventually, the older calf gives up and slowly begins to walk back to the herd. Yet it is still in two minds. It stops and looks back. The mother elephant is still trying to lift her calf up and help it. Suddenly, the older calf screams and runs back to its mother and sick brother. Although it is risking death, never again does it leave its mother's and brother's sides. The next day, the mother and older calf have still not abandoned the sick calf. The baby is in pain with every step, but it is not abandoned by its patient, devoted, and loving mother and brother. and death still looks to be inevitable. At the end of the third day, something miraculous happens. The calf's feet slowly begin to gain some elasticity. Under its mother's watchful eye, it tries to straighten up on its feet. It keeps trying, tirelessly and determinedly. Eventually, it manages to stand for a moment. Then it kneels down again before making another attempt. And by the end of the fourth day, it manages to stand. The mother and the other calf's patience, love and devotion have given the young calf the time and support it needed in order to survive. While some evolutionists regard the killing of a handicapped baby as an evolutionary obligation, animals in nature treat their sick offspring with love and self-sacrifice.